we should be live. Hey, champions! It is Exploring the Libraries, episode 79.
Oh,
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting pretty close to triple digits. That's a cool thing. Today, joining us is Eric. Eric just came off of doing a live stream yesterday as well, and now you're joining us tonight for more Genesis talk, more Future League talk, and more spoilers. So, how are you doing, Eric?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. Looking forward to talking more about Genesis.
That's great. We enjoy talking about Genesis too. We do it every week. At least once a week we talk about Genesis.
That's true. True.
All right. And then we got Alex and Will, which we don't normally do introductions, but we'll have you introduce yourself by talking about a gameplay experience you had in the past week. So Alex, start us off with a gameplay experience in the past week.
Well, this week, as my players like to say, we had a spy from Heads or Tails down at Dragon World. So Kenny was down, and so Darren warned Darren warned the players. Oh, okay, yeah, I guess it is up.
Alright. I'm 1 second. I think. Hey, can people hear the rest of the team? I'm like OBS is saying that your sound isn't going off anymore. I'm trying to figure out what's happening here.
Can you hear me?
Okay, they should be able to hear you now. Can someone confirm that?
That was some great banter, man.
That was good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, they did confirm that they lost audio, but they should be able to hear you in a few seconds because lag.
All right. I'll restart the story for them.
All right, start.
We just gave away the secret to the next meta.
Yeah, I
right
know.
there, the whole time.
The whole thing, everything.
The biggest spoiler ever.
All right, so this week we had a spy down in Dragon World from Heads or Tails, aka Kenny, and as soon as Kenny walked in the door, I'm like, oh, is this the classic Will K. Kenny deck? Angels coming down?
Oh.
Because Will always complains that Kenny's gonna play Angels.
We've got him.
Darren warned us that Kenny was bringing in his best deck to destroy us because he's from Heads or Tails, not like us casual Dragon World folks. So
Darren.
I pulled out my championship deck. But I didn't even get to face Kenny. I ended up taking it all, of course, in the championship deck. Facing in the finals against Nubia Spiders.
Spiders.
Nubia Spiders, yeah.
I find it hilarious that that's actually a thing.
Who brought that?
Steve did. Steve's been working on not the same one that has been run before, but it just runs some spiders. It's more of a Nubia hybrid with spiders being its mid-range. And then throughout the week I've played several other games. I might as well say this community. I am on every morning, Sunday at 9 o'clock until I have a meeting. If the community wants to play a game with me, I am there.
Sunday at 9 o'clock?
Sorry, I said Sunday every day, Monday to Friday. Every day, Monday to Friday. I am usually there in the fan Discord server if anybody wants a game.
Yeah, I see your name pop up in the chat all by itself, and I'm like, I'll just let him sit there. I got other things to do.
Yeah. So I played Blitz this week. I played Cut and Burst. I played Angels, and I played Core Control this week.
No Fong Tigers?
No Fong Tigers this week. The people that are facing, they want practice for the championship, and
Fong Tigers. Jeez.
They just don't think somebody's gonna run it.
Yeah, Will, you don't think Fong Tigers is gonna be hyper meta relevant and just take the entire championship? Come on.
We'll have to wait and find out.
Nice. All right, Will, you wanna lead us into some games you played?
I have. Oh boy. A lot of Future League stuff. So, but I did play with the kitchen table group on the Wednesday, and we hacked in and got some of the new champions with old cards playing around. So I showcased, the Necro Alim combo.
Nice.
And yeah, it worked pretty good. And then Ben was playing. I can't remember what he was playing. Anyways, he was playing a Kato deck that he had made, and that's a tough champion to rush into or to try to like do anything in the front. But I happened to be playing my Shun deck. My Shun.
Soon to be playing with the Shun deck.
I couldn't tell if you were making a pun or that you were just making a mistake.
Shun. Anyways, the vampire. I mean, that is one of my favorites. I don't have all the pieces because it's not on Coliseum of Fate, but I was able to supplement the pieces that I needed to make that work. And yeah, it's really nice when you gain health each turn, and then you rain of arrows your opponent to death. And yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'm really excited about Shun. I know, like, I had some hesitancy because I've been trying to make this like very interesting fighter since, Alpha. You had Malik and Raha, and then you had Core and Kun were supposed to be more of the fighter types, and they do see a lot of play, but not the way I kind of intended them to. But now I think Shun is going to be like kind of that more actual fighter, and there's going to be some finesse with him, so I'm excited.
The best play I had
pretty
was
epitome of a fighter. He goes in just hitting things.
He's pretty much fighter.
Kun?
Kun.
Yeah. I don't know. I just didn't. I guess I expected him to be more like Pit from Smash Brothers, so a little bit more evasive, and then just like shoot from afar. But no, he just comes in and starts smashing people with sub strikes.
Yeah, so the play of the game for me was the rain of arrows, but I did it in front of Kato. Kato went to save its Brook, but then I Shadow grasped Kato to my side because it's still in the rain of arrows position. Nice. He decided not to do the movement again because he'd already used it a couple of times. Comes to the side, hits both for 5, drain for 2, and then that was pretty much It's a fun little deck. So
nice. I'm excited. Nice. All right. I have not played any games in the past week. Yeah, I know. It was it was not the greatest week for having downtime at all. But Eric, you've been playing a lot. You had some pretty big games. Yeah.
Like a lot of Future League. Like last Tuesday we played Future League. Last Sunday we played a lot of Future League. But there was the standard tournament on Saturday I played. So I mean that was Aegis Blitz. It was pretty fun. And one thing that because I don't play a lot of standard, I just kind of picked Aegis Blitz. I felt like if I don't really know too much about the meta, I can just fireball for 2.
When all else fails.
Exactly.
Hit them with horses and fireballs.
Exactly, yeah. And that seemed pretty good. And then a couple tigers as well. I like those tigers. I'm looking forward to playing a lot of tigers in ESSA coming up. That'll be fun. The Future League games, I mean, I don't know how much I can talk about those, but they were a lot of fun as well.
I should probably
faster or slower games.
So I mean, I guess I can talk about this one though. Me and Sheehan played like that hour plus long Baz and Mirror match.
Because you had 1,000 summons though.
Yeah. We both had the exact same cards. We built a deck together, so we knew. That was intense.
So actually, this leads into a really good question, which is something that I've had a lot of people talk to me about when it comes to Future League, which is if you're gonna open up Future League to everyone and everyone can play it, then don't you find that people who play Future League don't want to play standard or play like the normal constructed? So, Eric, it's interesting for me. You primarily play in Future League. What takes you away from playing in standard? Would you play in standard more often, or is it just like the Future League table is more active?
I mean, yeah, when Origins released, I'm definitely going to play Standard. I'm looking forward to that a lot because I think the Origins cards bring a lot to the table. I would say my main reason I don't play Standard as much is because, you know, by the time I got to the game, which is like around Kickstarter, you know, it felt like the meta was kind of stable, right? Like people knew what the best decks were. I guess there was, you know, there's been some decks that have come out. But with Future League, you know, it's like an open playground. You know, you get to build your own decks and mess around with, you know, new things and try them out, and that's always really fun. So I feel like that's probably why I've gravitated towards the Future League. And when Origins comes out, then I get to do the same thing. I don't have the actual cards to do it, so that'll also be fun.
Yeah. How about you, Will? Because I know you bounce between playing like pure Future League, playing like partial Origins with the older stuff, and then also playing just J2 in paper. So
yeah, I mean, it's definitely, now that we're this close to Origins, around sort of kind of like that around the corner mentality, but it's getting harder and harder to play with just the standard cards. Like, and I mean, it's, yeah, there's a lot to it. Like, I still try to make it out once a week to Heads or Tails. I mean, there was only 3 of us that showed up because everyone's sort of gotten, you know, everyone's sort of had OP packs, and they're like, okay, that's, you know, you get your OP pack. No one really wants the J2 packs. And then, yeah, Sid, Yan, and I were the only 3 that showed up, and we all tied in the standings, so we all won. And it's just like we were all first and we were all last at the same time. So it was like, okay, it's interesting, right? Like, I mean, I don't know. It seems like there's been a drop off, at least with people showing up on organized events. I don't know if that's because they've gotten what they want out of it, or just maybe it's just an off week or whatever. But I mean, everyone's still hunting for tsunamis. But they're also getting frustrated that they're not showing up as often as the other ones. So there's a bit of a catch-22 there. But yeah, I am looking for, I don't know. And now with the Origins cards becoming real, like there was always in this Future League, there's always this like, or we were told that you're not playing with the actual cards. Things are going to change, or we're not, you know, you're not giving you the full cards and everything, just the concepts. But now some of the cards are the full cards. Like we were actually playing with the same cards. And so now I'm getting excited, but also nervous because maybe I should have tested that a little bit more, or maybe I should have been harsher on this one or that one. But I don't know.
Alex, the response to that?
No, that's funny.
Felt like there was just something.
I always feel like it should have tested something more. That's gonna be always.
Yeah, like it is so much of an art. Like you can't just. There's no point where I've ever felt like any set was complete, that it was ready to launch. But eventually, just you have to do it. You have to launch it. You have to get into players' hands. And then I hate having to do restrictions or bans or ratas, but sometimes you got to correct some mistakes. But we test as much as we can. We get opinions as often as we can, and then go from there.
Yeah. I also feel I should clarify because Vetflex is talking in the chat, and it's like, yeah. So at Heads or Tails, we've been playing with J2 for a long time, and Steve-O and myself have been playing with Jay Rays for almost 2 years, or 2 years? No, year and a half now.
Yeah.
So so that is more of a we're at the central hub of like where Genesis has been played in Ontario. A lot, and same with Dragon World. They all are in the sort of that same boat. I don't like J2 is a fantastic piece of product for getting it out to all the and everyone who buys it is getting a lot of great cards. Then that sounded more. That was just more of me just being like, yeah, we've been sort of doing this. But one of the things I forgot about my the gameplay was I was able to showcase I'm not sure. Is Alex? Are you taking credit for pack battles?
Are you taking credit? I like how you
It
just
is,
put
I
him
guess
on
I
the
made it.
spot like that.
Was it at the weekend, or were you doing it before?
I've done it before.
Okay. So anyway, so I took Alex's idea of pack battles and sort of tweaked a few things on it, and that was actually legit fun. Like for players who were like, "What do I do with these packs?" So we all had a pack. I was like, "Well, we could try this pack battles," and it might be the newest format for us that when we get to heads or tails, just be like, let's just grab a pack and then let's do this instead.
What is pack battles? Explain. Elaborate.
So the rule set that I adopted off of Alex is that everyone gets one pack. It's multiplayer format, so it has to be 3 or 4 people. Because it's not a lot of fun just to one-on-one. But your pack is your whole hand. There's no other cards. You have no color restrictions, and you're just a 10 health, 1 damage champion as a body. And then you declare any cards that are dead. They become left hooks. You reveal them, and you sort of flip them in your hand. And you have no resources, and you just sort of have your 15 cards, multiplayer format, and you just go and see what happens.
So like all energy costs, all aura costs, all that's free.
You just play cards. It's just you just play the card. Right? As soon as you use the card, it's gone. Then we realized the first game it got down to all 3 of us hitting each other for 1 back and forth in like a triangle. So we adjusted so that if you have no hand, your attack goes up by 1 to 2, just to speed things up.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. It's kind of a risk because everyone has like 2 rares plus maybe an epic, so you don't know exactly what's in their hands, and they're playing from the whole card pool too. So it was really interesting.
Yeah. I had a question, but it kind of I got distracted by what Netflix was saying. So they learned very quickly playing this weekend that Genesis is all about building decks. The 2 pre-built decks that they have were fun, but got boring after a bit. And it's yeah. Even if you're playing the demo decks, for sure, and even if you're playing the Idris versus Raha decks, those still like.
I think it was the demo ones that.
Oh yeah.
That Joey sent.
Oh yeah.
I think Steve-O sent him the versus deck.
The starter deck, yeah. No, those.
And I can also add in that I agree. Building decks is one of the most fun. There's playing too, but like building decks is very fun, and I do that a lot. You know, every week, me and GM we talk about the game, build some decks. It's fun.
Yeah, like that's I think one of the more. There's some fun depth to it. It's not as straightforward as other games that I've played, not just TCGs, but games across the spectrum. Like I remember playing Warhammer and being like, okay, I have 1,500 points or 2,000 points. It's just already set out. Like I'm not thinking about it too much. But I like with Genesis, there is a lot of nuance, and there's no way to perfect your deck. There's no because there's no caps on cards, there's always a room you can change things. Maybe if you add a 7th of that or an 8th of that, and then you got to pull other things out. So there's always that little room to kind of move things around. Deck building's fun. Yeah, and then something I was going to say is, J2, it's definitely gotten very saturated. But the cool thing is, especially since the last championship, we've seen other meta decks or other decks kind of show up. So it's not that J2 is done. It isn't that there's no more to do with it. It's just we want Origins. I want Origins. Everyone wants Origins. Everyone here is like the 4 of us are pretty involved with Future League. So I know this question gets asked a lot of like, what do you think, which of the champions you're most excited to play with, or what are going to be the kind of biggest threats? But I kind of want to turn that around and be like, okay, let's talk about formats. Let's talk about limited. Like if you're doing a draft or a sealed, what are some champions that you think players should be paying attention to that they may ignore otherwise?
Anything with chaos in it.
Chaos?
I disagree with Will in this regard. Any champion with high energy, which is not usually the norm from a current draft format, is going to be very important because fatigue is a very common ability on the cards.
Yeah. Like if you get trapped down by a bunny and you're playing just a Nubia, that Gargantuan Rabbit's going to destroy you very fast.
And actually, this was a question I was wondering: is Origins draft only Origins champions, or can you pick any champion?
I know I'm gonna play it that way. I don't know about everybody else because I don't want to see no Idrises and Nubias at my Origins draft. But
I think at the beginning, I think you have to at the beginning, because if you add the other ones, then you're sort of skewing. Like if someone loves Idris, then and you know that, you know, Steve-O loves Idris, always plays Idris in limited. Like you either can just hate draft him because you know he's going to go Idris, or he just walks away with a bunch of good cards. But
on the other hand, so I could definitely see, especially if you're doing a release event, like it's a release weekend, you want to do a draft or a sealed, probably gonna stay within Origins. Everyone will stay naturally within Origins anyways, but I could see like down the road a little bit more opening it up to J2 champions, just because it's also, especially in a limited format, you want comfort. If you know that there's a particular champion, like just say you want to play Thymos Chaos. Well, if you're doing that in Origins, I think your only option is Shun. Is there a second champion that's Thymos Chaos? So your only option is Shun. Where if you expand it, now you got 4 champions, right? So it just feels a little unfair to be like, no, you cannot use all those other champions. It's just.
But then if you add all the champions, it's unfair to all the phage combinations.
Or is it? Because there'll be so many people who start avoiding phage that if you're drafting phage, you're probably gonna get all the good stuff. And
there will be a tug of war over phage cards. Yes. I think it depends. Yeah, it depends on which ones pop to which people. I think it's going to be very signaling heavy on the phage. What are you seeing versus what people are pulling in front of you?
Now I think Iblis in sealed would be really cool. Like I know she doesn't have the energy reduction, right? But she does have the immense amount of health, and just the built-in attack could be really powerful. Just to sure, no matter what your pool is that you drafted, you're gonna have a good play every single round. So I like the champions that hit for 3. I think they're really good in draft, except for Rain. Yeah, poor Rain.
Says the guy who almost always goes Rain in draft or sealed.
With sealed, I almost always go Rain. Draft, I usually go Malik or Fong. Those are my go-to for drafting. Fong energy reduction, Malik just the brute force of it, being able to swing in for 4 when you have nothing else. Like if you're late game top decking, being able to swing in for 4 is a huge deal. So lots of incumbent players have been playing the same card pool for a very long time. A lot of long-time players excited for Origins. Yeah, I think that's definitely one of the biggest issues. And I remember when we launched J2, we actually talked to a lot of the community, a lot of players, and being like, "Hey, we need to do this." I'm sorry, especially when everyone wanted Origins, but we came out with J2 instead. What about the other champions? If you got Tashir and there's definitely some of the fighters that are really interesting.
Yeah, I like Alex's 2+ energy peeps because they're I think that definitely the fatigue thing's a real thing, but also just having I remember a lot of my sealed wins with Fong is because I can just play 4 energies abilities really easily. And so now we're doing that with different color combinations, and now we have 3 energy reduction, right? So
so Essa's just gonna take over.
I don't know if it's necessarily Essa's gonna take over. What I witnessed on Sunday was that I think last, or this might be getting to the next topic, but I think last meta was very heavily based around 20+ health. You need to have at least 20 or more health to sort of have a decent chance. I think Origins is I don't know. I feel like maybe 24 is your baseline now. You need to be above 24 at least to sort of have a decent chance. But maybe that's just what I'm seeing, or maybe that's a different card pool because Future League cards have some differences. But
Um,
The 22 health of Essa, I think, is going to be their downside.
that'd be interesting. Okay, so going into constructed. So thinking of constructed, the first circuit event that will happen after Origins becomes tournament legal. How much do you think it's going to be Origins-based champions?
That's
Eric?
a hard one to gauge.
I guess it depends.
Where is it?
Yeah.
So
where
let's
is
say
it?
hypothetically. Just say hypothetically it happens at Anime North, right? Where you got the long-term players there. If you were going to play at Anime North and Origins was tournament legal, would you risk running in with a champion who you haven't played with, or go to your comfort zone?
I mean, for me that'd be hard because my most played champion is one of the orange unicorns.
That's what happens when you talk to future leaguers.
Oh man, I almost have my Bazin deck already built, so that's what I would be taking. But yeah, I mean, I guess it depends. There's something to be said about playing your comfort zone, but at the same time, people know how to play against, the old champions pretty well. And if you have a new deck, the people aren't going to know what's coming, and you can kind of surprise people. And so if you have like a good build that does something unique, you can really take it. And so I think obviously there's going to be some people playing their comfort zone, but I think the most successful people will just bring like a really nice creative new deck that people aren't sure how to play against, and it'll be really interesting to see. Because I think with forethoughting, right, it's going to take a while for people to actually build that. And so some people are, if you have a good one and other people aren't prepared for it, yeah, you're going to really do well.
Yeah, just take Nubia Angels. Origins got nothing on it.
Yeah, it's not like Origins has a bunch of counters to Nubia Angel. Oh, goodness. All right, Ben says, I would totally risk playing new cards. Best chance as a new player competing against expert players. Like, we have seen that decks that the expert players didn't see coming, those decks have done really well at competitive scenes. So, no, that would be really cool. What would you do, Will?
So, yeah, on the one hand, I understand like everyone knows what it's hard because you have to sort of gauge what the mindset is. Like, if someone's bringing a new deck to like brand new set, I'm assuming that they've gone out of their way to make sure that they've packed that deck with everything that they want. It's not just like, oh, I cracked a box last night, let's throw whatever in the box. Like, it's like they're 4 or 5 boxes deep to like make sure that deck is where they want it to be. Versus, so I don't know.
It's hard, eh?
Because so there's something about the comfort zone, just like what you're doing, and if they don't, right? If they're playing with new cards and they don't know when to use those cards correctly, you could definitely have an advantage. But there's a lot of new cards that really mess up a lot of the old decks, so you could just, by happenstance, just lose because they pull really well or draw really well, right?
I'd bring a new deck. I also love deck building.
You're also the head designer, so everything.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, also, like, if you think of Alex, the 2019 championship, he just came in with that Tsunami deck. Like, they were kind of just random decks. A lot of what he plays competitively are just usually random decks. Except for the circuit. On that first circuit at Forbes in 2020, then you played Nubia Angels. But
I played it Nubia Hybrid.
Yes,
Hybrid. That was, I think, honestly the first showing of Hybrid, other than the Holy Hybrid.
but that was the only time I've seen you play something that's close to like meta. Every time I've seen you play with decks, they're always experimental. So I totally get that. For me, I'm gonna have to play with Origins because I gotta play with Kasha. I got it. All right, I got one other topic that we can talk about before we jump into spoilers. Also, shout out to everyone who's watching. There's so many people, and I haven't been able to say hi back. So hi, everyone.
Yeah, I don't have the chat up. Normally I do.
I know, like, I'm blanking on the name. Henning from Germany is here, and then also our friends from Australia. I'm so sorry. I know that they come in and they say hi every single time. Kevin C, yes. So we got people all over coming to watch, so that's great. Thank you so much. All right, so I had one question. This has actually been a really big question for me, and it was proposed by Steve-O for a while, saying that people who play in Future League just inherently have an advantage over people who don't. And it's because they got to spend a lot of time practicing with those cards before the set even released. And Eric, you kind of brought this up by saying the champion you're most comfortable with is already a champion from Origins compared to any of the current champions. So there's two parts of this. One, is it fair that Future Leaguers can compete? And two, how long does it take for a non-Future Leaguer to be on the same level as a Future Leaguer for competitive practice? So, first question, the hot topic there, of like, do you think Future Leaguers, if we were much larger, and 70% of our player base weren't already Future Leaguers, do you think it would be fair to have Future Leaguers compete?
He's kind of right. I think I do have probably a little bit of advantage, right? I think anyone that's playing with the cards, seeing the cards, even if they change and stuff like that, you get a little bit of advantage, right? There's that practice, right? You get extra practice. I'd be disappointed if I couldn't, compete. But I think it's also a matter of skill, right? Like maybe at a certain point, I'm trying to think if other Future Leaguers in like different games, if they're allowed to compete at high levels. I'm not sure. Maybe someone was answer that question. Because that's a good point. But I don't know how long would it take. Again, it depends on how many games you play, right? Like I play maybe once or twice a week, but like once everyone gets the cards, like maybe you guys play 5 times a week or 3 or 4 or 5 times a week, and you can catch back up or go ahead. And if you're better than me, which is very likely, a lot of people have been playing this game for a long time. They probably will understand things faster and pick things up. So, I do think in summer, I guess, Future League definitely has an advantage, but I'd like to be able to compete, and I think it's probably okay for now. I don't know. I guess that's
it's a difficult question. Yeah,
it is a difficult question, and that's why I don't know. I don't have the answer. That's somebody else has the answer.
And I don't think it's difficult at all.
All right, Alex, go for it.
Future League is not private. Everybody has the exact same advantage.
Yep.
If you choose not to participate in it, it is your choice at the end of the day. Now that being said, we also 100% did not just give Future Leaguers just those tools. As we've seen, we've held some cards back. A lot of stuff have been wrong on the Future League table. We have stuff from future sets on the Future League table.
Yep.
So sometimes they get comfortable with the wrong cards as well.
Yep. Ben says, yes, Future League people have an advantage. However, they are serving the community by volunteering time, so it's okay. Also, there's no barrier to entry to Future League if you want that advantage. So that's definitely been one of the arguments I have, is that it's open to everyone. But Will, what's your thoughts?
Wait, Will. I need you to just hold 1 second. I got a great comment I need to say. Will's been in Future League forever. He hasn't been able to win a tournament.
That's so mean.
There you go. Enough said. Next question.
I was gonna say, even for the Future Leaguers, there are some who are really active in Future League, but then there are a lot of people in Future League who don't tap into that network as often as others. And I don't think they're at much more or much less of a disadvantage than anyone else. But Will, what's your serious thoughts?
I mean, it's yeah. I don't like it's fully open, so people can come in and they can be part of it. They can, we have over 100 people in Future League, maybe less than 100, maybe like 80 people in Future League. 7 of us actually do stuff, so I don't know. If it was closed off and you couldn't compete, would that present? What would that do? I don't know.
Yeah.
Would it be more surprises, more unsure, more complaints or whatever coming out when cards are revealed? Would the testing be better when it's just a select few that are doing it? I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to this. But yeah, I think there's always that time period between when the cards actually come out, and this time they are different than what people were using, and then the time when we start competing. I would say that initially there is probably an advantage there because future leaguers are going through the box knowing all of a sudden this card is good, or all of a sudden this card is, I've used this card in this deck before, or whatever.
Yeah. They
have a starting basis, but after that, I think the catch up is pretty quick though.
Yeah. So one thing I think that's very important is for those future leaguers who are active in it and who have a sense of what cards are going to be a little bit more powerful, to share that information with the community. So I'm going to compare my story to Pokemon Go because that's the game I play. So Pokemon Go has a PvP and there's an entire meta and everything like that. And every few months they change up the moveset. So what's strong, what's weak. Certain Pokemon go to the top of tier. And within hours of them announcing that, people are already putting out videos talking about, okay, these are the top tier Pokemon. These are the ones you want to be playing with. This is the strategy you want to go with. So within hours of that shake up to meta, already I can start preparing myself and looking for what I want to get to build the team I want to build. And that's very similar with TCGs. Like when I played Magic and a new set would come out, within the first week or so, we already had a good sense of what were some of the more powerful cards, what were some of the meta that you should be preparing for. It wasn't always 100% accurate, but the conversation was being had. And I think now as the community is growing and more content creators are talking about gameplay for Genesis, and to plug Will's Twitch streams on Saturday night where he goes through a lot of that conversation and helps players kind of ramp up in strategy. As long as you're having those conversations with the future leaguers, I really honestly think within 2 to 3 weeks you should be able to catch up with meta and figure out what cards you're looking for from a new set. That's my feelings.
They have to listen to me though. That's the key. Stop listening to Alex and listen to me. How many champions has Alex developed, and how many have I?
Also, how many live streams are you on, and how many live streams is Alex on? That's also a thing.
I don't know what Alex does.
He just does this.
I think he's got a lot more. He's a busy guy because I'm always like, "Hey, Alex, you want to talk?" No, I'm busy.
All right. We got 20 minutes remaining. Let's jump into talking about some spoilers.
We're doing that today.
Yeah, that's a thing. That's an entire thing.
I do have a question while you're pulling up spoilers. I have a question for. I'm not sure if Alex can answer this, but this has been on my mind all day. You ready for Alex?
I'm ready.
Are you? I don't
yeah.
think you are. How many cards with 6 or more damage are going to be added in this set? Just for reference for people watching, we've had 3.
This includes summons?
Yes, we've had 3 cards over the first 3 years of Genesis that did 6 damage: Angel Retribution, Substrike, and Lightless. And I guess technically Primordial Force 4. in the last week we've had at least 4.
7 damage doesn't count, right?
7,
The
yeah,
number?
6 or more. 6 or more.
There are more to come.
There are more to come. We've had at least 3 or 4 spoiled already.
Yeah. Well,
there's.
I know the number. I don't want to spoil it.
All right, so we're gonna do the same thing we do every week. We're gonna show the three of the champions with the alternate art, and then I'm gonna let Eric spoil the 2 new cards that are gonna be coming out. So let's start. Actually, so we're going with the humans. We didn't even talk about this. Where that all the elves are Bellum affiliated, all the fairies are Axon. Now we're into the humans that are all Thymos affiliated. And then all the vampires are Chaos affiliated. So now we're into Thymos, going into the humans. Starting off with Kato. So there's that alt art by Mario. 21 health, 135 aura, 1 energy reduction, forward awareness. Thymos Axon. So you got the cast deal 2 earth damage to targeting your awareness. So that's Swift Exert. And then you got Force Warp. So Swift Speed, Force Warp, 5 aura, and 4 energy. Place target champion or summon in your awareness on a spot adjacent to you. This is a big one because I know a lot of people talk about Kato. You got 2 things going there. You got the combination of Thymos and Axon, which is supposed to be like it's a combination a lot of people are excited for. I'm much more of a Bellum Chaos person myself, but Thymos Axon and then Force Warp is a crazy mechanic. So let's talk. Where do you feel this champion is? Anything you want to talk about when it comes to this champion? Silence. Alex, go for it.
I enjoy this champion because I joined the combination where I feel the other one that we've already seen, Korean, right, is a bit more narrow for me. It's very narrow. Where Kato, you can take him a little bit other places. You can build him a bit more spellcastery. He can still be a decent caster, decent summoner too, because he can use the Force Warp on the summons that he has. And even that energy reduction 1 allows him to play a little bit of techniques in there. Now, that being said, if you're doing all of that, mixing it up, you're going to quickly run out of resources if you do Force Warp a lot.
Yeah.
Is this what Long has always wanted to be? It's just, 1 energy reduction, a little more aura, a little less health.
Long is perfect where Long is, all right? Don't go fixing Long.
How many times are you Force Warping in a game?
Kato No Man's Land deck.
Still doesn't work.
4.
Everyone's talking about this Kato No Man's Land. It doesn't work. But anyways, let them have it. Anyways, go ahead.
I said I don't know. I'd say on average you're doing at least 4.
4. Yeah.
For 20 aura and
16 or yeah.
well, reduction, cards. Right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
12 cards. 12 cards. Yeah. Eric, how's your experience been?
Yeah. So I do like Kato a lot, actually. The combination of Thymos and Axon is pretty good because you have a lot of good cards that you can just gem in. He's got decent health, decent aura, with 1 energy reduction, deals 2 damage. So just like good all-around stats. And the Force Warp, I mean, it's a good question about like how often you're using it in a game. But it basically makes it so you can't take damage from the front, which is really powerful, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you like position yourself properly, it'll be hard to do any damage to you. And then you also have almost like a emotionless persuasion, up all the time. Like you put your summon out in front, and if they try to kill it, you just move it away.
Yeah.
So you have like this constant protection up, which is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think if you're full aura base or heavy aura base in your deck, you could probably push your Force Warps a little bit more. Like if it was like 1 of 2 energy sources, right? I think you could probably push it a little bit. I'm just glad that this Kato is not the one that we had played with for so long in Future League, where it was forward,
Ooh.
and that was just ridiculous. And I'm happy that it's gone.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
Bear in mind, so also to note, this is one of 2 champions that Alex designed with his name on it. So, yeah, if anything goes wrong there, we know who to blame. I've taken my lumps with Epiphany. It's time for you to take some. The thing I love about champions like this is, I think for new players who are going to use it, they're going to burn themselves out really quickly. It's one of those champions like Minot or like Long, where you just think, okay, let's use this over and over and over again. And that's where it really kind of kills you. This one also doesn't have Exert on it the same way Minot doesn't, right? Mm-hmm. So this is one of the few champions where you could just use that ability a bunch of times. Now you need a target in that awareness, but depending on the situation, it can be an ability that you use a lot in a single round, and that could just kill you that round. All right.
Is anybody asking for lore? I can't see the chat.
Nope, no questions for lore. They don't care anymore.
For lore. They don't care. All right.
We should do an entire thing some point where you just read through the story.
Story time with Alex? Nice.
All right, let's go for it.
I'll give them the lore anyways. I know they want. They're just too scared to ask. That's true. I'll keep it simple this time. I won't go too deep. We did talk about Kato a little bit in the Korean storyline. So Kato was the geneticist who fixed her flesh eating disease. He's been a great academic for a while, but as you can see, as a human, he's gotten old, and the elves and fairies kind of want him out of the academy now. So he's kind of made a deal with Minot to help her out on actually chapter 1's out there. Can I chapter 1?
Yeah.
He's made a deal with Minot to get him some more funding. So for that, he's going to do a bit of experimental experiments on the vampires. That's as far as I'll go.
So how does the academic find himself in an arena?
We're not at that part of the story yet.
Chapters to be read.
The experiment might get away.
This also, I think, the only champion who's actually on the older side. Most of the champions are pretty young. Kato, Kendra got suspended in animation for hundreds of years, but technically she's 19, 20 something around there. Those ones don't show their age, right? Kasha, Minot, all of them, right? Kato's like the only human who
Yeah, I was gonna say, wait, all the elves.
Yeah. All right.
All the elves
jump into
are immortal,
Essa.
live forever. Wait.
Essa, 22 health, 85 aura, 3 energy reduction, forward awareness, Thymos Phage, Earth Attack 2, and then has Bash. Whenever you deal Earth damage to a champion or summon, they may pay 3 energy. If they do not, they gain stun for this round. And this artwork's done by Philip. I love this artwork. This one was one
I think I like this one.
Really, I don't know. It's really, really impactful. It's so good. All right, Eric, let's start you off there. You've probably played with the champion in Future League.
I've played so much Essa. This art is great. I really like this. It really kind of shows what you do. You just kind of go in and smash things.
Yeah.
Which can be fun and cathartic. But yeah, the 3 energy, it's a lot. And so one thing that deck building with Essa allows you to do is basically just be able to play all your cards, right? Because you can kind of fill your deck with energy cards and a little bit of aura, and then you're just playing your cards out, so you can kind of continuously play cards. And also what it allows you to do is kind of just jump on people and hit them in the face and threaten this stun. Which is also can be good.
Yeah.
I like her. I like them. Yeah.
Will, give us some thoughts there. I know
you've got. So, I think we have to look at the cards that we currently play with that see a lot of just staple cards, right? So you have your leaps and jumps, you have your rampage tosses, you have, what else do we have in red? Has to be mostly red stuff, but all those cards are 3 or 4 energy. Gut punch also stuns, but you're not paying that. It's either free or it's 1 energy, right? So that means those energy savings can go to bigger things like Rain of Arrows, or can go to the new one spoiled Volley of Arrows.
Yeah.
And we have, we still have a lot of Phage cards to be revealed, right? We're not sure what ESSA has to pull from there. Yeah, I think there is a definite like run in and bash face. Like I think that's definitely something. But there's also, I think there's other ways to build ESSA as well, which are potentially kind of scary too, right? So, we have seen Taser, right? Taser's 12 aura. So you can pay seven of those. If that was your only aura cost, you can do 7 Tasers on top of your regular bash to try to stun that lock your opponent. And who knows, like, is ESSA going to be the fatigue champion, or or are they not? So
yeah. Alex, give us lore. If there's gameplay stuff you want to talk about, go for it. But we want to make sure we get the lore in there.
I'll just go with lore. We're running out of time.
Yeah.
SA is a ranger. They do go by they, them. They pretty short. They did not enjoy the politics of their family, who were high up there in the human society, and just wanted to get out of that culture. So pretty much went to the military academy. Literally got tons of awards. As you can see, they are very athletic. Maybe you can gather that from the card. So they literally have tons of awards, and they said they could have pretty much any position they want. So they came from a powerful family, but they said, I want to be a ranger. I want to get even out of the city. I want to just go to the forests, and that's where I'm going to be. Now, of course, lore-wise, that's happening within the town. All the rangers have been called in for assistance because a dangerous vampire is on the loose, and she gets wrapped up in things. Hey,
there you go. My little note is I love the superhero pose. This is so good. And my core belief of why Fong did not do well prior to Origins is because she was the only one with energy reduction 2, and there's a huge jump going from the 1 to 2. And I think with more champions having higher energy reduction, this will actually make Fong more playable. That's my theory. And as the card pool comes out, we'll see how that goes. All right, last champion for tonight, and then we'll get into non-champion cards. So let's talk about Tashir. Tashir is 22 health, 90 aura, 2 energy reduction, far front awareness, Bellum Thymos, swift range air attack 2, and action heavy range earth attack 3. And this artwork done by Mario. This one's an interesting one. Eric, start us off.
Yeah. Tashir is very fun. Played a couple games with her, and I feel like she's just going to be the archer, over Raha. Yeah, I mean, whatever that's worth. But yeah, there's a lot of cool things. Like one thing that's fun is like going like knockback and then shoot them. That's always cool. Having obviously bolt shots and stuff like that with the 2 energy reduction. So if you really like the kind of the kiting and long range, like marksman ranger type gameplay, Tashir really brings that to the table. So that's gonna be fun.
Nice. Will, thoughts?
Yeah, I think I know Ruben has been playing a lot with Tashir, so definitely one of his favorites. There's a lot of really cool things you can do with Tashir, right? I think I agree that Tashir will replace Raha as the archer as far as like which archer gets played more. But I think that's mostly because Kun just replaces Raha. And yeah, I'm interested to see, like, we've had Vacuum Vortex and Zenith Pulse, both which are cards that allow you to, use that same sort of awareness, get those opponents or enemies into that awareness. Do watch out. Do have something in your Tashir deck to provide a front awareness for her, because if someone does play a Dense Fog, you are not moving anywhere ever.
Yep.
So that is a thing that can happen. Dense Fog can basically make you not move, but I mean, it's easily solved. I think what was her end up aura be? 90? Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think some giant scorpions placed behind can really do a lot of damage. Basically gives you a front awareness. So yeah, I like it.
All right, Alex, give us the lore.
All right, for Tashir, Tashir was orphaned when vampires raided the human civilization of Adahada. Pretty much at the age that she could, she went to the academy, trained to be a ranger to prevent vampires ever being able to get into the human side. That's the short of it. She's known
Nice.
as the best vampire hunter.
Nice. So it's kind of like a Belmont. Nice. So the question I have, but I think this might be too big to have right now, but at some point the chat about does Tashir replace Fong it's a question I've seen come up.
Will used to fight this. Used to say it did. I don't know if he does it anymore. No.
All right.
It's a no. It's a no for me, dog.
Eric, I'll let you spoil. We're gonna start with the Thymos card.
All right.
So it's the Thymos card?
The Thymos card for tonight.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Yeah. I guess whenever it's
Yeah,
up
it's
on
up.
the screen.
It's up.
Wait.
It's up on the screen.
Yep.
All right. All right. So it's a diving juke. Actually, how do you say that awareness? Is it just like forward left, forward right?
Diagonals.
The diagonals, yeah.
Oh, diagonal left, diagonal right, diagonal.
Or just the diagonals.
Just the diagonals. Oh yeah. Yeah, that makes more sense. So it's a 5 chi Thymos, technique maneuver, swift, move, 6 energy, and it's just move to a spot in Diving Juke's awareness. Yeah, I think this card is great, and it's part of the kind of the additional counterplay that I was talking about with Joey yesterday. So I remember kind of glossing over this card at first, and then I remember playing a game. I was playing a summoner, and my opponent was playing Essa, and I kept on surrounding him, and then he would just diving juke past all my summons and come hit me in the face. And he did it like 3 times during that game. And then I started noticing it more. So now, whenever I'm in a Thymos deck, you always have to have your diving jukes on hand. It really allows you to kind of like cut through and get around places, both offensively and defensively. So I really like this card.
Will's got thoughts.
Was this always 6 energy?
No.
Yeah,
You
I don't
guys
think it
nerfed
was.
it? Wow. All right. Okay.
Yeah, I noticed
That's all I
that.
have to say.
I noticed that too. Yeah.
That's where I'm at right now. That's
Yeah, I'm gonna defend the energy cost here a little bit. So it used to cost a little bit more because of sidestep.
I don't think it cost. I thought it cost less. I thought this was 5 energy.
No, it used to cost 7. A long time ago.
Oh, you
a long
buffed
time
it.
ago cost 7. But the formula, the formula is used within the card, and it doesn't make sense for us to make cards worse. Just because one other card exists in the game. This is an affiliated card where sidestep isn't.
And I think both of them have their particular plays, but Diving Duke is definitely one of those things that's going to give Thymos fighters a little bit more.
It has the Axon effect, yes.
Yeah. It gives them some really unique advantages. I love this because it's also one of the things that we talked about when we talked about like Hellcasting has been talked about a lot in the past little while. Diving Jukes is definitely one of the cards that comes to my mind. It isn't the only solution. There are a lot of them, but it's definitely one of those cards that can help against that Hell Chasm first turn. So I'm really excited about this card. I think it was, and it was Carl. Yeah, Carl designed it. It's one of those cards that when it comes up, it's just like, yeah, this is perfect. This is what the game needs. All right, last card for tonight. Unless Alex has some lore on that. All right, go for it.
Not
Eric.
We're not far enough in the story for that.
All right, Eric, give us a last spoiler.
All right, last spoiler. All right, so the last spoiler. This is the Axon card, Warp. It has a forward awareness, 3 chi, Swift, Warp, 6 aura, and 5 energy. Move to a spot adjacent to a target in Warp's awareness. So this is, I also like this card a lot. This is one of those, 3 chi mobilities with like a pretty high restriction, kind of like Oten or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is another card, it's kind of difficult to judge at first, and I was a little hesitant, but one thing that we did to make this card a little bit better is you play a lot of quick beckons, and then you kind of build your own Chrono Walker. Because you can use it to kind of dodge an attack coming directly at you. You can use it to kind of jump over different things, like Hell Chasm can kind of block off a lot of area, and this allows you to target the chasms and kind of jump over them.
Mm-hmm.
And then also the quick beckon thing, where you place a quick beckon right in front of you, and then you use that to warp away. There's a lot of versatility with this card, and it's nice 3 chi. It's got a pretty sizable cost on it, but I think as a 3 chi with a lot of maneuverability, it's good. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Will? Will's not happy.
Look, you gave Oten a different color, and then you went and gave Oten to the color that doesn't need Oten. A better Oten. You don't even have to be targeted with this thing. So long live Rain Axon. Yeah, the things you can do with this card are nuts. The fact that it's 3 chi is nuts. This is that cost at 3 chi. I mean, we play 6 energy cost cards at 3 chi, and we live or die by them. So I think this cost is just fine.
Yeah, Alex.
I think this is the epitome of what we always try to say to players: don't attack from head on.
Yeah.
That's it.
I love this. I always enjoyed the warp mechanic, but when we got the opportunity, like something like this where you can target your own summons and do some really fun stuff, I really started enjoying warp. So
this is one of the first cards we started testing for Origins. Sid brought the short warp, mid warp, long warp.
Yep.
Mid warp. I missed.
No, I think it was long warp. That was we ended up cutting.
Long warp.
Long warp was the one we didn't keep.
Yeah. And they were all in
right.
Simos originally.
Did you keep mid warp? It must be different.
I meant no.
No, it must be different. I don't think it's the same card.
Yeah. Overall, like this cost is, like you're saying, there's a lot of 6 energy cards, especially at the 3 chi slot, that can play it a lot. I think this cost is a little bit on the greedy side, especially with 6 aura, because it's not something that fighters can play as comfortably. But it is something that they're going to play because it's just such a good card. So I'm excited to see how this shapes up. It's just both these cards are going to be really cool changes to how we perceive deck building. And that is one of the things about Origins that I'm really excited about. This artwork also had a lot of iterations over it. I would love to get the original artwork as a promo sometime, because he kind of came out doing the single ladies dance originally. it was hilarious. It was so good. All right, we're gonna wrap up everything there. thank you, Eric, for joining us tonight, talking to us about meta and Future League, and it's awesome having you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is fun. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, and then yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed the spoilers. That's it for tonight. Have a good night, everyone.
Have a good night.
Bye.
All right.